And we're joined by our buddy Joe B, WFAN royalty, Joe Benigno. Joe, oh boy. All right. The Mets have been very good at doling out heartbreak, and you've seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
Where does
every bit of it. From day one, 1962, every bit of it.
Where does it rank? Where does it rank on the calamity list, Joe?
I think you got to put it right there. And to me, it's a tremendous. You can make a tremendous comparison between Game 7 of the 1988 NLCS when they just watched Hershiser mow them down one after another. Mm-hmm. The last 100-win team, by the way, in 1988, to this game yesterday. Now, that was a National League Championship Series. This was a stupid wild card series, but it was the same thing. I mean, a massive disappointment. And it just as bad. And I want to say this, okay? They choked. Make no mistake. I don't want to hear anything about anything. This freaking team, they were in first place 175 out of 180 days, and they choked. They choked against the Nationals. They choked against the Cubs. They choked the game against Oakland. They choked the game against Pittsburgh. They choked the game against the Marlins. They absolutely choked against Atlanta, and they choked against San Diego. Bottom line, case closed. They flushed 100 and freaking wins down the toilet, and I don't want to see, I said this to Pete off the air, I don't want to see, and I said it on my podcast today, no stupid banner up there next year, okay, saying 2022 National League wild card.
But it's going up, Joe.
Because it was an embarrassment.
It's going up. You know it's going up.
Well,
they're all about the banners now, Joe.
Well, the only banners that should be up there are the World Series teams. There should be 5, and that's it. The 2 championships and the 3 other National League pennants. That's it. This was a disgrace of a year. I blame everybody. Max Scherzer spit the bit. He's a breaking down old pitcher now. Chris Bassett, who I loved, this guy showed me it was too big. New York was too big for him, especially. Okay, he spit the bit against the Cubs. He spits the bit against Atlanta. He spit the bit last night. And the comment that he made, the comment where he's talking about running the gauntlet in New York, that's all I needed to know, that this guy can't handle it.
Joe, I said the same thing.
See you, Chris. Go back and pitch for the freaking Oakland A's where nobody gives a damn, okay?
Joe, let me ask you this, Joe. Listen, oh, man, I wish you guys were dealt a better fate. I'm going to take issue with the word choke, though. So, with due respect, here's why. I don't think they're good enough, Joe. I think the bats were just fairly weak outside of 2 or 3 really good players. I think you measure up this lineup against the Braves. It can't shine the Braves' shoes.
No, you're right. It's not even
Same
close.
with the Padres. Even though Soto's only been there a couple of months, hasn't hit well. This Padres lineup is superior.
Yes.
The Dodgers twice as good.
Yes.
Listen, the Mets squeezed out more wins this year than their talent should have allowed them to.
But wait a minute, though. But wait, B. Here's the bottom line, and this is from day one. It was all about their pitching. Scherzer and DeGrom. Who's beating Scherzer and DeGrom in a short series? Da-da-da, do-do-do. First of all, let me say this. Scherzer spit the bit, okay? This guy is a break. The 2 biggest games he pitched this year, he stunk, okay? He stunk. He's breaking down. He's 38 years old, and they're stuck with him for 2 more years at $43 million. And let me say this now about Jake, okay? Because I've been down on Jake. They got to re-sign him now, B. They have to.
Well, just like that, you changed your mind?
Here's why. They got no pitching, B. Who's the pitchers they got? If you don't bring Bassett back, your Carrasco and Walker are free agents. And I'll say this, okay? I've been down on Jake. But in the 2 big games against Atlanta and San Diego, he's the only one that pitched decent.
He pitched the best.
Now,
he
should have pitched more than 6 freaking innings, which is a joke, okay? But at the Atlanta game, he gave up 3 runs, 3 solo homers. They were down 3-1 going into the 7th inning, and obviously he gutted it out because he didn't have his great stuff on Saturday night. He gutted out 6 innings, gave up only 2 runs against the Padres.
Yeah, he fought. No question, he fought.
Right. So I've been down on him.
You have been.
He's not worth $43 million a year, but the Mets, who's pitching for them next year, bro?
It's a lot of you guys got issues, Joe. You do.
Right?
By the way,
Big time.
that's Joe Benigno and Joe's Monday call-in is brought to you by Foxwoods Resort Casino. The wonder of it all by Winters Brothers Waste Systems. Conveniently rent the dumpster online at wintersbros.com. Long Island's #1 choice for waste removal. That's wintersbros.com. And by Total Orthopedics, the expert at getting you back to being you. And by Webster Bank. Joe's got a lot of people jumping onto the spot. Webster Bank, the official commercial bank of the New York Jets, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Oh,
go ahead, T.
Hey, Joe B., you mentioned spit the bit multiple times, and as I understand that idiom, it's a tired horse who stops pulling against the reins because he's tired. And I wonder if that
I was thought it was
matters.
about a fish who didn't want to take the lure.
No.
Really?
I wonder if, Scherzer, he's old.
Sure.
He wore out as the season gone down. He took that little respite because of his oblique issue.
Right.
BT mentioned this earlier in our show. It's one of the oldest teams in Major League Baseball.
Yep. Yes.
Do you think ultimately the pursuit of the division, because it was a race, man. It was it was hard fought. It was awesome to experience in real time, even though you could call it a letdown or a collapse, whatever it was. Do you think because of the makeup of the team, like the age of the team, that chasing the division ultimately is what caused this lackluster wild card performance? I mean, they didn't hit at all.
Tiki, they were in first place 175 days. They weren't. They were being chased. This was the team that was in control of the division. I don't want to hear how old they are. Go win one game against the crummy Chicago Cubs at home. Forget even Atlanta. Go win one game. Don't lose 2 games to the absolute garbage Washington Nationals. No, they were in. Look, they did it.
But my question is, Joe, why did they lose those games? Was it because it's the same reason? Like you shouldn't get swept by the Cubs. Why were you swept by the Cubs? Because you needed a break. You took a couple mental days off and whatever it is.
I think there was no sense of urgency. I think this team thought they were going to win the division. I really think this. They thought they were going to win the division. All we heard is they went into September. Oh, they got once they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. All we heard was, they got such an easy schedule. They got the easiest schedule of any team, down the stretch. And I think they took that to heart, and they wound up getting burned because of it. There was no, and I blame Buck for this too. And by the way, what Buck did last night was a disgrace.
Why, Joe?
A disgrace.
Why?
Because they couldn't touch this guy. So let me go see if he's got Vaseline. I'm surprised they didn't make him drop his pants and see if he had it up his rear end. That was an embarrassment by Buck Showalter because your team can't buy a freaking hit against this Musgrave. Okay, they look like they could care less. So you got to go out there and embarrass yourself like that?
All right, okay.
No, seriously,
No, I trust me. I know that you, and a lot of people feel that way. Here's
I
why
don't want to hear it.
I got you, but let me at least give you something to think about why I really disagree. Buck Shaw, now they could have been there for 2 days. The Mets weren't hitting Musgrove no matter what.
Exactly.
I get that.
Of course.
Your literal job as the manager is to do anything that is in the best interest of your team. Now, I know you're not a big analytical guy. I get that. I respect that. I know that.
Yes.
But, Joe, the spin rate was up. The velo was up.
Okay.
I know you hate that stuff, but hold on. All those things matter. In terms of modern interpretation of the game, it matters. The guy's got glistening something from his ear, and suddenly all the numbers are spiked. And Twitter's ablaze. If Buck didn't do that, in my opinion, it would have been irresponsible.
Well, look, you could say whatever you want. Okay, you want to go that route. I look at it the way I just said it. It was a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. And I blame Buck. Forget even last night. Forget that. Let's go back to what I was talking about when they had supposedly the easiest schedule of anybody. I blame Buck. Where was the urgency? You got to win these games, man. You have this Atlanta team that never loses breathing down your neck, okay? And you allow – I mean, your team's losing to these crummy teams? I mean, where was it? And I blame Buck for that too. I really do, bro. I'm disgusted with this.
Joe, what do you do this offseason?
We've been burned too much.
What do you do? I know. I get. What do you do this offseason? What do you do?
I told you. I think now you got to bring DeGrom back.
Okay, but I mean in terms of bats.
Come back.
In terms of bats, Joe.
Well, that's a great question. I think you got to keep Nimmo. I really do. I think Nimmo's a big part of this team. I think you need him. I think I really do. And I don't know. I mean, some of the comments he made sounds like he wants to leave too. They got to get. They need help offensively. They do. I think Alvarez has to be the catcher next year. And I couldn't believe. Let me say this too. And another thing with Buck, how the hell is Darren Ruff? Okay. And I know he got on base a couple times Saturday night. They won the game. He got hit by a pitch. He walked. How is this guy on the postseason roster? How is that kid not the DH in that game, even though they won it? I mean, please. Look, I'll tell you what. Look, the Yankees don't want to pay Aaron Judge, and I'm Stevie Cohen. I'm going after him.
Now, listen, you say, and I was going to lead you there. You say that, and a lot of Met fans have intimated that. Do you think there's a real chance that happens? To me, Judge is not going to the Mets no matter what. It's Yankees or Giants. But do you think Cohen comes with a crazy offer?
He should. Why not? Look, the one thing that I hang my hat on right now as a Met fan after this debacle of a year, as it turned out, is the owner. That we actually, for the first time, have an owner that actually wants to win. He wants to. He wants a championship. None of this, like this year. He wants a championship. So he's going to spend the jack he has to spend. And I think, look, if the Yankees are stupid enough, okay, to allow this guy to get to free agency, okay, because they got that window after the year's over.
Yep.
If they allow this guy to get the free agency, it's fair game. If I got to go after him. It would be irresponsible as the owner, and I believe this. Steve Cohen would be irresponsible if he didn't go after Judge.
Yeah, Joe B, your Monday afternoon football report brought to you by.
Let's lighten the mood here, Joe.
Brought to you by the
boy.
Mets. The Jets win, however.
Hey.
Tell me, Jeff.
Let me tell you something.
Hold
I
on.
gotta say this.
Jeff Olbrich, I think, had a really good game plan. In the first play
my
of the
God.
game, was Sauce
Tremendous.
coming off the corner, getting a hit on Teddy Bridgewater. One of 16 they had on the day.
Unbelievable.
That knocked Teddy B out of the game, unfortunately for them, because I don't think he was that concussed, but he was concussed. And the new protocols that have gone into effect, if you get a little bit of it, you're done for the day. They had a backup all day. But defensively, they played great. But offensively, Breece Hall might be the rookie of the year.
Tiki, I was crying watching it. I'm telling you, man, I wanted this game so bad yesterday because I am so tired of getting stuck up, get killed by these teams in the division.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of hearing these Dolphin fans, and I don't want to go into it. They all think they're so damn great, okay? Well, the Jets laid the wood to them yesterday. And what they did to them in the fourth quarter, they just buried them, and I loved it. I was crying. This team has so much young talent on both sides of the ball. I'm crying. It's making me cry. and if this quarterback is the real deal, and he didn't do a lot yesterday, but
Didn't have to.
Didn't have to.
He didn't have to. He made some good throws. He didn't turn the ball over. He took one really bad sack, but that's okay. He didn't turn the ball over. Made some big throws when he had to make some big throws. I'm telling you right now, this team is loaded. Breece, this is the best running back tandem. This is like a young Matt Snell and Emerson Boozer. I'm serious. I mean, one guy's a rookie. One guy's in his second year with Carter. I mean, come on. I mean, we've had some running back tandems, but not young guys like this. Curtis Martin and Lamar Jordan. We had
Sean Green and
Thomas
LT.
Jones.
Yeah,
right.
Thomas Jones, yep.
Right, Thomas. But this team, these are young guys.
Wait, Joe, the best part, and I know this is going to resonate with you. By the way, do you have the red zone, or do you just do like local?
No, I got the red zone.
Okay, you do. I figured you did, but
Yep.
we watched the red zone, especially the last 10 years with the Jets and the Giants. Outside of the 1 year the Giants made the playoffs with McAdoo, and the 1 year that we fumbled in Week 17 up in Buffalo. Okay,
right. Oh,
every other Sunday, it seems like we're watching two different NFLs. The one we watch on the red zone, and the one we watch with the Jets and the Giants.
Right.
Specific to the Jets, with their young offensive talent, not only is it talent, but Joe, it's explosive. It's modern. Like they finally have gotten back. Or not back. They finally got up to the rest of the NFL conceptually.
And let's be honest about this, okay? All right? This team, this is a mediocre league. Let's be real about it. There's a lot of overrated teams that are looked at a certain way just because of the name of the team, okay? And I don't want to start getting into all of that. The Giants exposed the Packers are not that. Look, they may lose to the Jets, may lose to them next week, but the Packers are not the team that everybody thinks they are.
Nope.
They wish they had the offensive firepower that the Jets have, I can tell you that.
I agree.
And the Giants stuck it to them like it was beautiful what they did to them yesterday. And, boy, what a coaching staff between Dable and Martindale. Unbelievable. But with that said, there's no reason this Jet team can't win 9-10 games. Let's be real about it. No reason they can't. And if this quarterback's the real deal, and they stay healthy, got to stay healthy, there's no reason they can't, bro. You talked about the quarterback hits, Tiki. Carl Lawson had 7 hits.
Yeah.
He forced that fumble. And the highlight of the day, this was the highlight of my day yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're
bro,
going. Yep.
Quinnen Williams picking up the fumble and just laying the wood to Tyreek.
Mush.
Oh!
How do you like them taxes,
And I wanted, I'm going to say this too. Everybody, all the Jet fans, that Tyreek wound up going to Miami. I wanted no part of him. I wanted exactly what we see right now. All these young guys that we drafted growing together and becoming a big-time team. And that's exactly what they've done here. And I killed Joe Douglas for the Becton draft. I've killed him for that. I killed Denzel Mims. These last 2 drafts, I'm telling you, B, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I was crying yesterday. I was crying watching this game.
It's such a pleasure to sit down and watch these young kids get after it. It really is amazing. Joe, so a couple of real quick hits because we're getting late here. Number one, I'm going to Lambeau this weekend. I'm going to watch Jeff. Hold on. If I'm able to get you close to a free trip, can you come?
Wow. Wow. I have to think about it. I have to. You know why?
Think about what? It's Lambeau.
I understand, but when would you go? When would you leave?
I'm going Friday night.
You're going Friday night. Wow. See, the problem is, here's my problem. Friday night, I'm doing one of my live podcasts that I'm already booked to do.
So fly in Saturday morning if I can make it happen. We'll talk off the air.
Right,
I got
we'll
you.
talk off the air.
Number
talk off
one.
the air.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
Number two, Yankees move on. Do the Yankees move on the series? Do they
Absolutely.
win?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yankees move on. I think the only team that could beat them is Houston in the American League.
Joe, always a pleasure, buddy. I sincerely feel bad about your Mets, man. You deserve better than that. Most of you guys do.
What can I tell you?
I hear you, man.
Be
I'll
good,
talk
Joe.
to you, Joe.
All right,
Thank
all
you, buddy.
the love, guys.